Okay, so imagine this. What if a poet's final words, lost to the world for decades, actually held a secret key to how we see everything? Well, in 1984, that's exactly what happened. A manuscript turned up, written by the great Peruvian poet César Vallejo, literally on his deathbed. And this is the story of that final, incredible testament.
The text had a name, The Speaking Bone, and inside, Vallejo just lays it all out, his last, rawest thoughts. And this isn't just poetry, you know. It's this deep, almost brutal dive into what's left when everything else gets stripped away. Our bodies, our societies, even our idea of who we are.
And this one line right here basically sets up his entire idea. See, Vallejo didn't trust the big, complete systems. For him, the real truth wasn't in the perfect, finished story. No, it was in the broken pieces, the fragments that confess the things the whole story is trying to hide.
So he takes this idea of a fragment and pushes it to its absolute limit, the human skeleton. Think about it. When all the flesh, all the compromises, all the lies are gone, what truth does that bare bone tell? That's the question we're going to dig into today.
All right, so this brings us to his first big idea. The bone is the ultimate symbol of truth. For Vallejo, a skeleton isn't about death. Not really. It's the honest-to-goodness architecture holding us up, the framework that's still there when everything else has fallen apart. The way he saw it, the world is just built on all these compromises and negotiations, and let's be honest, a lot of lies. But the skeleton, it doesn't negotiate. It doesn't compromise. It just is. It stands for this deep structural honesty that he just couldn't find anywhere else.
And this slide really breaks it down, right? You've got the flesh on one side and the bone on the other. The flesh is always negotiating, compromising. It's temporary. It's always departing, cell by cell. But the bone holds. It remains. It confesses the simple, undeniable truth of our shape, our limits.
Now this is where things get really interesting. Vallejo takes this powerful metaphor of a single skeleton and he expands it into his most radical idea yet, the idea that all of us, all living things are physically, literally interconnected.
He calls it the collective body. And we have to be super clear here. This is not some fuzzy spiritual idea. He is making a stark, materialist argument. He means we are physically, scientifically, one single body.
So how does that even work? Well, just think about the basic cycle of matter. A body decomposes. The calcium from its bones goes into the soil, right? A plant absorbs it. Then another body comes along and eats that plant. And just like that, that same calcium is now part of a brand new skeleton. It's this constant, incredible cycle. And this line, this is where he just drops the hammer. He insists that we see this as a scientific fact. This isn't poetry, it's physics. The borders we draw between you and me, they're an illusion. At the atomic level, we're all just constantly swapping materials. We are one continuous thing. So, if that's true, why do we feel so separate? Well, Vallejo argues that it's a fiction, and it's a useful fiction for people in power. Because if we all believe our hunger, our pain, our problems are just our private issues, we'll never look up and question the systems that are actually creating them. And that thinking leads him right to his next point, a major critique of society. If we're all one collective body, then the systems we build, our laws, our economies, are a kind of architecture that organizes and sorts that body, and often it does it violently.
The bone, with its simple honesty, it can see what the flesh tries to ignore. That the very structure of a society, the way it's built, can be a form of violence against parts of that collective body.
So when Vallejo says architecture, he's not talking about buildings. He's talking about the man-made structures that decide who eats and who doesn't, who gets the resources and who suffers. This isn't abstract stuff. It has very real, very physical results. And this is what he means by architectural crime. It's the miner's spine literally bent into the shape of the tunnel he works in. It's water being owned by a company instead of the people who need it. It's hunger, industrialized and turned into a policy by people who will never, ever feel it. The injustice is baked right into the system.
Okay, so if you're faced with this crushing reality, what's the role of the artist, the poet, the witness? What can any one person actually do? Well, Vallejo has an answer for that too. And that's the question that really haunts this whole manuscript, isn't it? If the system itself is the crime, what can you possibly do? Is there any other option besides just despair? His answer is it's so profound. To simply see what's happening, to record it, to tell the truth about it, that's not passive. It's an act of solidarity,
It's a way of holding up the structure of truth when the rest of society is built on lies.
For Vallejo, art couldn't just be beautiful. It had to be useful. It needed hands so it could be a tool for people. It needed feet so it could travel and spread its message far and wide. And most importantly, it had to have a skeleton, a strong core argument that would survive long after the pretty words, the flesh, had faded away.
So ultimately, the goal of witnessing, the whole point of art, isn't to make something beautiful. It's to take the unbearable weight of what's happening to one part of the collective body and share it, distribute it among all the other parts so the whole body becomes conscious of itself. It forces all of us to carry a piece of the burden.
And this is how he ends it, by turning it right back on us, the reader. He's not just telling a story, he is handing over a responsibility. By hearing this, by understanding his argument, we've now picked up that skeleton. The job of the witness is passed on, and the holding, well, that continues with us.